Every now and then, I stroll by the front of my house, catch the glint of that massive steel door, and I have to pinch myself. Did I really go so far as to install a bank vault door on my suburban home? Yeah, I did. It might just be the most gloriously over-the-top response to a meddling neighbor in history. But let me tell you, every penny, every sore muscle, every stunned delivery guy's double take was worth it. How did a quiet guy like me end up with a fortress entrance that could make a bank robber weep? Buckle up, because this tale of petty tyranny, righteous fury, and cold, hard steel is one for the ages. It all started when I moved into Maple Grove Estates, a peaceful little neighborhood with shady trees and a cozy cul-de-sac. I bought my house for the calm, the greenery, and the nature trail out back. What I didn't bargain for was Karen Whitmore, the HOA president who ruled like she was queen of her own tiny empire. Karen was something else mid-50s, decked out in flashy outfits that screamed money but whispered bad taste. Her hair was a lacquered masterpiece, defying GRAVY tie and logic, as she cruised our narrow streets in a hulking white SUV that could have doubled as a military vehicle. My first run-in with her was over the roses I'd planted out front. Apparently, my sunset glow variety wasn't on her sacred list of approved shades. A letter arrived, complete with a blurry color swatch, scolding me for my floral noncompliance. I'm a mechanical engineer, a guy who lives for logic and problem-solving. So, I dug into the HOA's 300-page rulebook, found a vague clause about cohesive landscaping, and fired back a polite letter with a data sheet on my rose's disease resistance. Big mistake. Karen didn't care for facts. She wanted obedience. Instead of a reply, I got a DULA 5 daily fine for my rogue roses. I paid the first one, grumbling, and sent another letter, calmly restating my case. The next fine doubled to DULA 10 a day. It hit me then. Karen wasn't a bureaucrat. She was a petty dictator. My neighbors, mostly retirees, just shrugged. That's Karen, old Mr. Thompson across the street told me, clipping his hedges. She wears you down. Just plant her approved flowers, kid. But something in Meme that stubborn engineers streak refused to bend. It wasn't about roses anymore. It was about principle. Karen's next move was my mailbox. My perfectly good black one apparently lacked the required brass flag per her latest rule, rubber stamped by her loyal board. Another fine, DULA 20 this time. I could have swapped the flag for DULA 30, but her sheer gall got under my skin. Months passed in this slow-burn war of official letters and escalating fines. I'd counter with carefully researched rebuttals, quoting her own bylaws against her. She'd just invent new rules or hike the fines, her letters growing unhinged with all caps and exclamation points. She even tried fining me for my bird feeder, claiming it lured unsavory wildlife. I mean, it was for sparrows, not vultures. The real explosion came when Karen pushed for interior aesthetic harmony. She started dropping hints during her SUV patrols, loudly complaining to neighbors about some residents who didn't get that standards applied inside homes too. Whispers spread about her plan for actual home inspections to check decor. Most folks laughed it off as Karen being Karen, but I should have seen the warning signs. I went away for a week to sit my brother, Leah VYing Mr. Thompson to grab my mail. When I got back, I noticed a tiny scratch by my front door's deadbolt. I shrugged it off, stuck my key in, and nothing. The lock wouldn't turn. Same with the knob. My keys that worked fine a week ago were useless. My stomach twisted. I checked the back door. Same deal. No broken windows, no signs of a break-in, just that eerie scratch. My heart was pounding. Had I been robbed? I called Mr. Thompson, who shuffled over, looking worried. His spare key didn't work either. Mighty strange, he muttered, then hesitated. Well, Karen was around, and there was a locksmith van here a couple days back. Figured you'd called them. A locksmith? Karen? The truth slammed into me like a freight train. That HOA tyrant had changed my locks while I was gone. The violation, the arrogance, the sheer insanity of it took my breath away. My shock burned into a cold, towering rage. Karen hadn't just crossed a line, she'd obliterated it. She had no clue who she was messing with. I wasn't just some guy with the wrong roses. I was a man who knew steel, stress loads, and the unyielding physics of a really thick door. This was war, and I was about to build a castle. First, I called a 24-hour locksmith, a guy named Mike, who showed up bleary-eyed but sharp. I showed him my ID, utility bills, deed. Thankfully, I keep copies in my car. He whistled at the locks. "These are brand new. You didn't order this?" "Nope," I said, voice tight. "I think my HOA president took it upon herself." Mike's jaw dropped. "That's basically breaking and entering, man." It took him an hour to get me back inside. Walking in, I braced myself. Everything looked normal, but a faint, sickly sweet floral scent lingered. Karen's perfume. My skin crawled. She'd been in my house, snooping, judging. Then I saw it, an HOA envelope on my hall table. The letter inside was a masterpiece of smug nonsense, claiming a wellness and decor check due to new harmony protocols. It admitted they'd changed my locks because I hadn't granted access. A Liena one contacted me. It listed issues like my dull bathroom towels and uninspired blinds, plus a bill for their locksmith and new fines. I crumpled it, shaking with fury. This was beyond harassment. It was a crime. I called my lawyer, Lisa, a no-nonsense pro who'd handle my home purchase. I read her the letter, and she let out a low whistle. She admitted to breaking in writing. "Oh, this is a legal goldmine." She told me to change the locks again, document everything, and get Mike's statement. Lisa sent Karen and the HOA board a cease and desist letter that could have peeled paint, demanding reimbursement and hinting at lawsuits for trespass and harassment. I got new high-security locks, but the violation lingered. Every time I walked inside, I wondered where Karen's eyes had pried. I needed more than locks. I needed a statement. That's when the crazy, perfect idea hit: a bank vault door. Not a Lukaliki, actual, multi-ton steel beast that laughed at locksmiths and screamed, "Stay out." It was absurd, impractical, and utterly glorious. I pored over the HOA rules again. Nothing banned specific door types, just vague talk of good repair and aesthetic harmony. Game on. I found a company, Titan Security Solutions, who didn't blink at my request. Their rep, a grizzled ex-cop named Jake, just asked about load-bearing specs and lock types. We settled on a custom, 8-inch thick steel door with massive bolts, a submarine-style crank, and a combo lock. It weighed 2 tons. I hired a structural engineer, Dr. Sarah Lynn, who studied my house's blueprints and grudgingly admitted it could work with serious reinforcement, new concrete footings, and a steel beam. While I planned this in secret, Karen kept up her attacks. Anonymous complaints flooded the HOA portal. My lawn was uneven, my driveway had a stain, it was rainwater. She even showed up one Saturday with 2 nervous board members, a twitchy guy named Carl and a yes woman named Janet, demanding to inspect my backyard for invasive dandelions. I leaned against my garage door, arms crossed. "You're not stepping foot on my property without a court order, Karen. Not after you broke into my house." Her face turned purple, but she backed off when I mentioned Lisa's name. The door's arrival was a spectacle. A flatbed truck rolled up, hauling a tarp tank-like crate. A crane hoisted the beast over my roof as neighbors gawked. Mr. Thompson's jaw hit the floor. Mrs. Lopez next door filmed it, grinning. Karen, thankfully, was at her weekly leadership brunch. Titan's crew worked 3 days, welding and calibrating. The door's dark graphite finish was oddly sleek, but let's be real, it looked like a vault crashed in a suburbia, and I loved it. Spinning that crank, hearing the bolts clunk, felt like locking out the world. I added a discreet security camera, per Lisa's ad VYC, and waited. A week later, my camera app pinged. There was Karen, in a blinding orange blazer, clutching her clipboard, with Carl trailing like a scared puppy. She marched up, stopped dead, and gaped at the steel monolith. Her head tilted like a confused dog. She poked the door, as if it might vanish. "What in God's name is this?" she whispered. Carl mumbled something incoherent. Karen snapped to, banging on the door. "Mr. Daniels, this is President Whitmore. Open this immediately for a compliance check." I sipped my coffee, smirking at the monitor. She yanked the crank nothing. Her voice hit banshee levels. "This is illegal. An unapproved door. Open it now." I flipped on the camera's speaker. "Morning, Karen. Love the blazer." This is my new door top-notch security. No, you're not coming in. Get a court order. She jumped like the door had bitten her. You can't do this. It's against bylaws. Funny, I said. I checked. Doors just need to be in good repair and aesthetically harmonious. This baby's brand new and, to me, gorgeous. File a complaint if you want. She screamed about police, fines, fortification violations. I laughed. Call the cops, Karen. I'd love to show them my door and tell them about your little biva stunt. Carl tugged her arm, muttering about lawyers. Karen's eyes flashed with panic, but she hissed, "This isn't over," and stormed off. The fallout was epic. Mrs. Lopez's video of Karen's meltdown spread like wildfire. I became a neighborhood hero, Fortress Daniels. At the next HOA meeting, Karen tried to ban bunker doors, but the board spooked by Lisa's letters and fed up residents shot it down. Even Carl pushed back, likely rattled by his role in Karen's schemes. Lisa piled on, bundling Karen's new fines like excessive metallic sheen into our lawsuit. The HOA's lawyer, a frazzled guy named Peterson, begged for a settlement. They paid my legal fees, locksmith costs, and a fat sum for damages. Karen had to write a groveling apology to every resident, admitting her unauthorized entry, and resign. She sold her house and fled, rumor has it, to an HOA-free town. A new board, including Mrs. Lopez and a reformed Carl, slashed Karen's dumb rules and added protections for homeowners. My door? Still there, a steely middle finger to tyranny. Sometimes, as I lock up at night, I think of Karen. Did she learn her lesson? I hope so. My roses are whatever color I damn well please. My bird feeder's a sparrow party, and my home's mine again. This whole saga taught me. Know your rights, get a good lawyer, and when push comes to shove, a few tons of steel can say what words can't. So what do you think? Was I a genius or just unhinged? Should HOAs have any power over your home? Or are they just legalized bullying? Ever had a Karen in your life? How'd you handle it? Drop your stories below. Hit that like button if you're Team Vault Door, and subscribe for more tales of fighting the good fight. Let's hear it.